Later on, the Supreme Court in the coming days will hear a suit from embattled member of Bandai, Matthew Nyindam, invoking the jurisdiction of court to annul a High Court judgment. Details of these and more in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin from here. The committee led by Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II is expected to present its report on the Boko conflict to President Hammoah in the coming days, marking a major step toward resolving the long-standing dispute. This follows a key dialogue session on Monday between the Kosal and Mamprusi factions at the Menchia Palace, where both sides, Kosasi and Mamprusi, left visibly relieved with brief celebrations observed within the palace grounds. Observers say the engagement represents a significant advancement in national efforts to secure lasting peace in Boko. In a statement, the Asantehene indicated that the committee will soon present a report and proposals to the president outlining the path toward a permanent resolution of the decades-old conflict. The statement also urged leaders of the feuding factions to begin preparing their supporters for a future without violence, stressing that lasting harmony in Boko will require a shared commitment to peaceful coexistence. Monday's meeting brought together delegations representing the Nairi and Mamprogu traditional authorities on one side and the Bakunaba and Kusasi people on the other side. The Asantehene reminded the leaders that regardless of the mediation's final outcome, the people of Boko would ultimately need to live together as brothers and sisters. Let's engage security analyst Emmanuel Coating on this. Mr. Coating, thank you for talking to us this afternoon. You have monitored the work of the Otumfuo-led committee since it started its work. What do you make of the committee's approach in dealing with the dispute?
Well, thank you for having me, and very good afternoon to your cherished listeners.
Right.
In fact, it's quite unprecedented, and we need to really commend His Majesty Otumfuo. What many Ghanaians didn't know is that there were behind-the-scenes negotiations going on, where officialdom from the feuding factions were appearing before a set committee and making their case with evidence and certain set of documents. And I particularly want to highlight that the methodology used by Otumfuo is quite germane, because if you look at the textbooks, he has brought another perspective into conflict resolution mechanism, given how protracted and then contentious this very conflict has been. The truth of the matter is that we can only expect one of three outcomes. One, either the Kusasis are declared winners or the Mamprishis are declared winners. Or a Kusao is declared the chief under the authority of the Nairi, as we have in the case of Chirapone, where Chirapone is in the northeast region, but draw its traditional authority from the Yana. So these are the most likely outcomes here. And there cannot be losers or winners,
right,
because what I've monitored is that there were some sunset clauses where both feuding factions signed up to that whatever decision come out of the mediation, they all abide to it. So we need to really thank Otumfuo for the methodology he used in arriving at where we are today. What I want to urge government where I want to urge government is that...
Yeah, we'll come to the recommendations to government when the report is out, but you made a point about the strategy or the approach the Otumfuo has used. We know a report is going to be out very soon, and the Otumfuo has asked the leaders of the factions to prepare the minds of their supporters. Is that the right approach in a situation like this?
Yes, definitely. If you look at what happened yesterday, I think some of us were quite disturbed. I think that's the drawback in the process where both feuding factions came out claiming victory. The report is not out, and we don't know what will come out of the report. So it's premature to speculate. I heard that Kusasi said they'll come victorious. The non-preachers were also saying the same thing. But the challenge is the media. And that is why I applauded Otumfuo with the methodology he used. You realize he did it behind the scenes. And people didn't even know the processes were ongoing. Given Otumfuo was even out of the country and had to do the mother's funeral and those kind of things. So I will urge the media that we should be very circumspect about how we report
the
on
media,
this
hasn't reported anything on it yet. Just like you said, we also rightly reported the fact that the meeting was held indoors and no final declaration has been given and all of that.
When I talk of the media, we have the new generation media, social media. If you go to social media, you see the kind of things people are writing. People are even speculating they have won and those kind of things. That is what I'm talking about.
Right. That clarity helps it.
So moving forward as well, we can draw useful lessons from this very one vis-a-vis the Dagbon thing.
Right.
I think government must prepare its chest very well. There should be some form of restitution to these feuding factions after the winners are declared. And I want to urge my brother, there are no winners or losers here. Even yesterday, they admitted before Otumfuo that they are the same blood and they shouldn't be at war with each other. And I think that was telling. So this thing has protected over centuries. I think that we must bring an end to it now. And when it comes to restitution, you realize the place has suffered a lot of underdevelopment because of the protracted conflict.
Right.
So what government needs to do is put a developmental agenda plan for that area, not necessarily putting money in the pockets of the feuding factions. If need be, government could look at a reconciliation commission after all of this so that wounds can be healed, some form of apologies can be given, and we'll move forward as one people, as we are all envisaging. So I will urge the leaders of the feuding factions to prepare the minds of their people. They should tell them the truth. Because this game is about evidence. And if you look at what happened, opportunity was given to both feuding factions to present their cases with the necessary documentation and evidence. And these reports are going to be based on the evidence and whatever was presented before the committee. The government needs to move straight away and implement same, and they shouldn't choose and pick.
Okay.
That's where the politicization comes in.
Okay.
Because this is an independent body, and if you look at the composition of the people on the committee, there are people with impeccable character and people with high integrity and high level of impartiality.
Okay. Mr. Kutin, thank you for talking to us. Emmanuel Kutin is a security analyst talking to us about the importance of ensuring peace after that all-important report is released by the Otumfuo and the committee set up to ensure there's some form of tranquility at Boko to bring the Boko conflict to an end. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. We are back after this break. Stay with us.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bill's Microcredit is here to support your dreams.
Ooh, ooh. This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamilyLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. This December, give your kids what they
2.7. Let's do some other stories now. The Special Operations Team of the Inspector General of Police has allegedly shot and killed one person in a swoop at Poloyafong Forest, a suburb of Tamale. The deceased, believed to be in his early 40s, died instantly after sustaining gunshot wounds. According to some eyewitnesses present at the scene, the deceased, who is a passerby, was trying to escape with his motorbike following sporadic shooting in the forest, but was allegedly hit by a stray bullet from the police in a similar operation on Thursday, November 27. The IGP's operation team stormed the Nobisco forest, burning tricycles and motorbikes belonging to some suspected drug traffickers. Tensions are beginning to rise between residents and the IGP's special operations team. Let's now cross over to Tamale and engage my colleague Christopher Mako, who has been following this development. Christopher, thank you for talking to us. A rather unfortunate development there, but how are residents taking the incident? I'm sorry, we've lost Christopher. We'll reconnect with him and bring you the details of that story. Let's go to the courts, because the Supreme Court in the coming days will hear a suit from embattled member of Pandai, Matthew Nyendam, who is invoking the jurisdiction of court to annul a High Court judgment that invalidated his 2024 election victory. The High Court Judge Manuel Bat Planch Brew, who ordered the rerun of the Pandai parliamentary election, has explained in his reasoning that the scale and nature of the irregularities uncovered in the pink sheets made it impossible to isolate the problem to just the contested stations. And so he says he is filing fresh processes at the Supreme Court seeking to quash High Court judgment which nullified his election as legislator, and he will be doing a lot more on that case. As soon as it gets to the court, we'll bring you details of that. So stay with us, because here is your election command center. Even when the date is also for everyone, we'll let you know. But a few reliefs that he is seeking from that appeal is that a declaration that the parliamentary election petition was invalid, also an order caution judgments of the High Court and any orders as the High Court or as the court deem fit. Three of the reliefs that he is seeking. He also says that an election petition shall be presented. So when there is an appeal against a petition, this is a process that it goes through, especially when it comes to the time for the presentation of the petition. So an election petition shall be presented within 21 days after the date of the publication in the Gazette of the result of the election to which it relates, according to Section 16 of the Constitution. The time limits provided by this section for the presentation of an election petition shall not be extended, according to the Representation of the People Law 1992, PNDC 284. And so that is it. We'll definitely bring you details of that appeal by the embattled member of Pandai, the embattled member of Parliament of Pandai, Matthew Nyendam, who is invoking jurisdiction of the court to annul a High Court judgment that invalidated his 2024 election victory. Let's go to the health sector now. Government is engaged in ongoing discussions with drone delivery service Zipline regarding the future of its critical medical supply contract. Health Minister Kobna Minta Kando, speaking during the government accountability series, indicated that despite public scrutiny and parliamentary pressure, a decision on whether to terminate the partnership has not yet been reached. We can listen to the minister now.
In the beginning of this contract, the idea was that we were not going to use government of Ghana money to pay, but upon review of the activities, what we have realized is that the hard-to-reach areas constitute only 12% of the activities, and emergency services is 4%. And it will interest you to know some of the items they fly. Items like condom, blood donor cards, not blood donor cards, mosquito nets, food and nutrition items, adhesive tapes, syringes and needles, education materials. And so when we came to office, we think that there must be value for money. And therefore, we are engaging them. So if you hear that we are not engaging Zipline, it's not true. Whether or not to cancel Zipline, we have not gotten to that point yet.
Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando, still with health, the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate is raising concerns over a widening HIV treatment gap that officials say poses a public health risk despite notable gains made over the past year. Speaking at a media engagement to commemorate World AIDS Day, the Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, said the region has made progress in enrolling more people into HIV care, but thousands remain unidentified, untreated, and vulnerable.
Out of the estimated HIV population of 63,159 in Ashanti region that are supposed to be on treatment, we have only 33,199 on treatment, representing 52.9% of those who are supposed to be on treatment. This means approximately 29,960 individuals either do not know their status or are not on medication. And this gap poses a significant public health risk. The only way to find them is improving testing, increasing awareness, and making prevention services easily accessible everywhere. To everyone listening to us today, HIV is preventable. HIV is treatable. And testing for HIV is free.
You are the Ashanti Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng. Let us go back to that story in the Northern region, where the Special Operations Team of the Inspector General of Police has allegedly shot and killed one person in a swoop at Polo Yafong Forest, a suburb of Tamale. The deceased, believed to be in his early 40s, died instantly after sustaining gunshot wounds. Christopher, a rather unfortunate development there, but how are residents taking this incident?
Yes, residents are not too happy about the unfortunate incident because just on Thursday there was an operation at one of the forests in Tamale where some motorcycles and motorbikes were burnt by the Special Operations Team. Even though the residents support the operations by the Special Operations Team, but for them, for a life to have been lost as a result of this operation, it's unfortunate, and that we are calling on traditional authorities and other government authorities to ensure that the IGP Special Operations Team conduct their operations without harassing residents and also without taking any life of any residents in the Greater Tamale metropolis.
Have you been able to talk to authorities in the Greater Tamale metropolis? What have they been telling you?
Yes, just a moment ago, I spoke to the Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale. He tells me that we are in a serious research meeting, trying to find solutions to the matter. He says that after that, they will write a report to our staff, especially the IGP, and also indicate happening to him, and to also inform him to get his men to re-strategize and use other methods of conducting their operations rather than what we are seeing right now.
So the man who is deceased, have we been able to identify who he is and probably the circumstances under which he got shot?
Yes, the deceased person has been identified. Right now, his body is deposited at the morgue. According to eyewitnesses, yesterday he was on a motorbike. Where the safety was conducted is by a main road, and so people were passing through and through. And there is also an intersecting road that passes through where the incident happened. And so the gentleman, believed to be in his early 40s, was also using that route. And when he heard the gunshot, he was trying to speed to get out of that area and was stopped by a police officer. Unfortunately, during their conversation, he was hit by a bullet and he died instantly. So residents are peeved that the police were in town to ensure sanity, especially in the forest reserve, to weed out criminals. But for them to for their actions to lead to the loss of a life is rather very unfortunate.
So far, thank you for bringing us those updates, and try to also stay safe even as you get all the details for us. My colleague Christopher Marco bringing us updates from the northern region on that alleged shooting of a man by the Special Operations Team of the Inspector General of Police. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some other stories now. The Ghana Mine Workers Union is taking on Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Attoforsen and the Bank of Ghana, accusing both of abandoning thousands of miners whose savings remain locked up in defunct financial institutions. According to the union, more than 19,000 miners have had their funds trapped for over 4 years following the collapse of several financial institutions. The union says it will begin nationwide agitations in the coming days to demand the immediate release of the locked up monies. General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, addressed miners and the media in Accra and had this to say.
Once we note the call by the Minister of Finance to the Bank of Ghana to recover assets of these distressed institutions in order to settle depositors, we find his comments very unfortunate and do not think that the government and the Bank of Ghana are fair to depositors like us. Indeed, we trusted the Bank of Ghana as a body corporate created by law and given the functions of supervision and regulatory compliance, and therefore entrusted our life savings into the hands of these institutions licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. It is therefore our expectation that the fiduciary duty of the Bank of Ghana to us as citizens of this country must be fully adhered to, and our money is paid to us without any further delay. Choboyi. We therefore take an uncompromising opposition that the Bank of Ghana must fully refund our monies to us and recover the funds paid to us from the liquidated assets of its own regulated entities. That is the job of the Bank of Ghana. Anything short of fully refunding depositors' funds will have severe consequences in the coming days.
Well, you heard the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, addressing miners and the media on the fact that they need a finance minister as well as the Bank of Ghana to intervene so that their locked up funds as a result of the collapse of some financial institutions will be released unto them. Well, if you are a driver or you have a vehicle, then you must pay attention to this story, because barring any last-minute rescue efforts, there could be no number plates to register new vehicles in 2026. Well, that's according to the Vehicle Endorsement Association of Ghana, VMAG. The group, which has petitioned the Transport Ministry, says the current leadership of the DVLA has failed to consult over its plan to roll out digital number plates, a development which spells doom for their business and the over 3,000 people employed under their service. They fear ongoing challenges by the DVLA to adopt the new technology, coupled with a lack of engagement of their services, could be disastrous for vehicle owners last year. Public Relations Officer of the group, Benjamin Mensah, joins us for a conversation. Mr. Mensah, good afternoon to you. What really are your concerns?
Good afternoon, and let me say good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers. Our concerns has been spelled out in the petition. We are looking at the genesis of this endorsement of vehicles and motor number plates. This is a business that has been a private partnership with the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority for about 4 to 5 decades. People have even inherited this business from their parents. And what we know is that in other jurisdictions of the country, it is the private entities that goes into this business with the DVLA. So we have been into this business for long. Our concern now is that every 10 years, if you know the genesis of how the whole endorsement number plate started, first of all, it was the artists who were using paint to write dates on a metal plate for about 40 years ago. So there was this constitution that was amended, and the LR was that they needed private people that can come with endorsement machines to do that business for the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. So as an individual, if you want to be part of this business, you write an application asking for a permit to be part of this business with the DVLA. We have been with them every 10 years. Anytime they want to do any restructuring or new things that are coming on board, they call us as stakeholders because they don't buy the machines for us. We as private people, we produce the plates ourselves, we produce the machines ourselves, so we pay finances it. And that has been the norm for the past 40 years. So anytime they need us to do any changes to meet up to the world expectations, they invite us as stakeholders. Then we sit with them and they will tell us the new things that they want in the system. So, for instance, if I'm a businessman and I want to become an endorser, I write a letter to the DVLA, I apply for it, they give me a letter to operate. You'll be given a specific machine to go for, which costs a lot. That is what we have been using.
Right.
So anytime
Mr.
there is
Mensah,
going to be any changes...
Right. You've already told us the process it goes through, as well as how the DVLA consults you when they want to do anything. Going forward, what are you seeking from government? What do you want government to do for you?
We are seeking from government that we have had the director, the chief executive, who has come to meet a very good plan of the past administration that talked about digitalizing number plates in the system.
Yes.
So this is something that we were called in 2021. We came with them and had a consultation, and they made us to understand that when they are ready with the administrative aspect of everything, we'll be consulted again, and as to which machines we are going for, we then go for it. Only for new administration to take over. We have been hearing the chief executive talking about new development of number plates coming into the system. But we have not been informed of everything. Anything, they have not told us. So we are saying that yearly, we know that anytime we want to emboss the coming year number plate, allocations will be given to us around November. So we waited up to November. We are not hearing anything.
And now we are in December.
That, of course. When is the number plate allocation coming out? We don't know what is going on. But our intel is telling us that there is this individual who wants to take the business from us. But we are saying that we have been in the business with the DVLA with agreement for quite a long time.
Right.
We don't expect them to give the business to other partners, whilst we have already done this business with them for that quite a long time.
Right. All right, Mr. Mensah, I know that the authorities are listening to this bulletin, and the rightful agencies or bodies will intervene so that you don't lose your jobs, just as you put it. Thank you for talking to us. Benjamin Mensah.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right. Benjamin Mensah is the Public Relations Officer of VMAC, the Vehicle Endorsement Association of Ghana. That will be all by way of our package of the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Came to you live from our studios here here at Adesawe, Kanda, Accra. You can log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. My name is Grace Hammoah Ajiman. But right now it's time for Business Daily, and stay with me because I'm bringing you that also in a short while. Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Bank of Ghana report reveals MPC members weigh global risk against strong disinflation momentum, with some pushing for up to 450 basis point cuts in recent policy rate decision. And Merban Capital head urges Ghana to add value to gold exports. Plus, Ghana Stock Exchange urges up on cautious and quiet December opening. Let's get the details now. New submissions published by the Bank of Ghana show Monetary Policy Committee members strongly backed further rates cuts by as much as 450 basis points due to stable inflation and a strengthening cedi. However, according to the reports they filed, differed on how fast to ease, highlighting caution over global uncertainties and credit growth concerns. There's more in the following 3 News Business reports.
Details emerging from the Bank of Ghana's 127th Monetary Policy Committee meetings in November reveal that while members welcomed Ghana's rapid disinflation and currency stability, they were split on how aggressively the policy rate should be lowered going forward. All 6 members pointed to a dramatic showdown in inflation to the central target of 8%, strong reserve buffers of 4.8 months of import cover, and a 32% appreciation of the cedi as firm grounds for easing monetary conditions. However, policy preferences varied, with some recommending deeper cuts of up to 450 basis points, while others called for a more measured 300 basis point reduction, citing persistent global risks and the need to protect external buffers. A key concern raised was the high real interest rate, now above 13%, which members say is constraining private sector borrowing and slowing investment recovery. The committee also emphasized maintaining foreign exchange gains, boosting credit to businesses, and supporting ongoing fiscal restraint. With inflation expected to fall even further towards the lower band of the target in the coming months, several members signaled readiness to support another rate cut in January 2026 if the current momentum holds and downside risks remain limited. The MPC's next policy decision will be announced after 8 first meetings of 2026.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report there. Moving on, Head of Finance at Merban Capital, Nelson Kujo Kwagbeji, has called on government to pivot its export strategy by adding significant value to gold and other commodities before exporting them. The gold price trend over the last 2 months, October and November 2025, has been characterized by significant volatility and a strong recovery following a sharp correction. Gold reached a record high of approximately $4,381 per ounce in October 2025. Following this peak, the price underwent a steep drawdown, reportedly falling by about 11% from its high. This correction was a pullback from an already dynamic and sustained upward rally that had occurred throughout 2025.
Gold remains one of the components of reserve of a country. Recently, the Bank of Ghana gave a directive that they are going to embark on the domestic gold purchase program, which means that there is so much demand on gold, and so we expect the price to continue. And so the marginal reduction in the price of gold is not a worry at all, even though when it continues that way, it's going to impact negatively on our gross international reserve. So this means that policymakers must shift their attention away from exportation of raw commodities to a much more value-added commodities. And so this brings to bear the diversification principle of the economy. We need to move away from commodities to a more value-added commodities, so that even if the commodity prices, of which we are not the determining factor when it comes to pricing, arises in terms of volatility, we will not be so much affected.
Well, to other stories, the Ghana Stock Exchange started the final month of the year on a subdued note, with major indices recording minimal gains amid significantly light trading activity. The market's cautious approach points to continued selective trading by investors. There's more in the following 3 News Business Desk reports.
Both of the Ghana Stock Exchange main indices posted slight advances. The GSE Composite Index inched by 0.01% to close at 8,610.70 points. The Financial Stock Index saw a marginal improvement of 3%, ending the session at 4,457.71 points. This resulted in a mild rise in market capitalization to 166.49 billion cedis. Price action was nearly flat across the board, featuring only one gainer and one decliner. Cowbank emerged as the sole gainer, adding 1 pesewa to close at 41 pesewas. Total Energies Market in Ghana was the only stock to lose value, shedding 4 pesewas to end the day at 40 cedis, 37 pesewas. Despite the index gain, market activity saw a sharp decline in volume and value compared to the previous session. Total value traded was 1.27 million shares, a drop of 42.20%. Total market value plunged by a significant 90.38% to 1.42 million cedis. Yesterday's day trade was heavily concentrated in 2 counters. MTN Ghana dominated market turnover, accounting for the bulk of traded value at 620,684 cedis, 51 pesewas on 147,431 shares. Cowbank followed with 418,212 cedis, 71 pesewas traded value for over 1 million shares. The subdued start to December suggests that investors are maintaining a cautious posture, channeling activities primarily into few key heavily traded stocks.
And Yonam Haliges reports there. Before we go, Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard John Mensah, says government is renewing its commitment to boost investments across the nation's energy sector as part of efforts to reposition it as a pillar of national development. He was speaking at the 2025 Ghana Energy Awards in Accra.
At this year's Ghana Energy Awards, Deputy Minister Richard John Mensah said ongoing reforms are stabilizing the sector, restoring investor confidence, and improving operational efficiency across power generation, distribution, and the petroleum upstream.
We have a responsibility, and we assure you that with our efforts and with your collaboration, we are going to reverse the declining investments and development in our petroleum upstream sector.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister maintained that Ghana will not return to the days of erratic power supply.
Ghana will not go back to the days of Dumso or the days when Ghanaians have to queue to get fuel. With the measures we have put in place, with the support of the President, with all stakeholder players, we are sure we are going to get there.
The 9th Ghana Energy Awards also recognized outstanding leadership in the sector. Chief Executive of the Volta River Authority, VRA, Engineer Edward Akol Obinkenzo emerged Male Energy Personality of the Year, while Chief Executive of the Ghana National Gas Company, Judith Ajuba Blay, was adjudged Female Energy Personality of the Year.
That was a report there on government's renewed efforts in energy investment for national development. And then the business news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah. Thank you for joining us. You can log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. Enjoy your afternoon. Black Rasta is standing by to bring you the Urban Blend. Good afternoon.